Hey everybody, this is Kyle Bennett. I wanted to make you a quick video on how to create Facebook campaigns from inside of KWCommand. This is kind of one very small niche that I'm finding inside of kind of KWCommand that currently is a very, very big value. So if you're somebody who likes to boost or use Facebook to do a lot of boosted posts, I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you do this instead. So instead of taking that money that you're spending on those boosts, I would highly recommend that you make one of these ad campaigns instead. The main reason that I'd recommend that is that this number right here. So your cost, your CPM, this number that's highlighted right there, what that really stands for is your cost to reach 1,000 people. So that is telling us that for every $4.14 on this one right here, we reached 1,000 people with that ad. And you can kind of see how that breaks down here. So we spent $30 on this one and it reached 9,833 people. So that was $3.05 to reach 1,000. If you boost a post on your Facebook page, you are likely going to spend anywhere from about $8 to $12, depending upon the audience that you're choosing. Could even be $15 to $20 if you're looking at a higher priced property where you're targeting a little bit better audience. So you can kind of see the difference there in what you're paying for and what you'll get. You're going to have anywhere from 3 to 5 times as many people see your quote-unquote boost by going through this process and creating an ad campaign. So I'll give you an example of what we're creating here. If you click on these little icons, this is after you've created and run a campaign. It'll show up here on your main page. If you click on the little eyeball, it's going to pop up a preview of that campaign. So you can see here, this is an ad that we ran. And then up at the top, you'll see there's different types of ads. So when you create one ad on Facebook in here, what you're actually doing is creating an entire campaign that's going to show up in a lot of different formats on Facebook. And that's part of how they're able to get the cost down. When you boost a post, you only have one place that you show up, or two places I should say, which is the desktop feed. That's what your property boost would look like, and then the mobile feed. What you miss out on is all these other networks that you can get a really, really nice cost per click on. So these are different networks that aren't even necessarily on Facebook, where your ad will now show up. That's a partner of Facebook, and you can see kind of the samples of these different ads. If you scroll around the web, you've seen different little mobile banner ads and stuff like that on different websites. So that's an example of kind of what your ad's going to look like once you actually get done. So how do we actually do this? The first thing we're going to do is come up here and select Create New. Just to point out, let me backtrack just a second here. When you log in, you'll come to the dashboard. You want to scroll down to this little, like the blowhorn there that's got the little guy with a circle around them. So once you get this pulled up again, this is right where we were. You can see the ad campaigns there. You'll go up and select Create New. You need to create a name for it. I'm just going to go ahead and put test right now. You'll see the different ad channels that you can select. You'll notice there's Facebook, we got Instagram, Twitter, and Google Ads. So something to point out, again, I kind of talked about it, Facebook is actually not just Facebook. So there will be a majority of your budget that goes towards Facebook, but there's also going to be your ads are going to show up on different apps that Facebook is a partner in. They could show up in WhatsApp, which is a partner that they have. They could show up on other third-party websites. You could see your ad on an ESPN.com, which is a partner of Facebook, depending upon the audience that you're targeting. So Facebook is a little bit wider than some of these others. So Instagram, it literally will be just on Instagram. Twitter, same thing. And Google has what they call an audience network, which can actually expand out to other websites besides just Google. But for the most part, it's those little searches that you see on the top. Actually, I'll go ahead and pull one up for you here. Let's type in Keller Williams, and you should be able to see. Yeah, we don't have. Let's do. I want to give you an example of what one of those look like. Homes for sale near me. That'll work. So this right here, this Zillow ad right here, that is what you would consider a Google AdWords ad. So you see how it's got the little ad next to it. So these are spots that you can pay for to show up on the top of search results. I would probably not recommend using that when you are talking about just doing a listing. That is something that you would more than likely do to promote a website. Maybe you in the future we might be able to promote a snap for a neighborhood that way. That might be a good idea for something that you could do, but probably not for a listing at this point, mainly because you don't have any imagery or any photos. And if you're going to show off a house, you might as well use a photo. So these 3 ad platforms are going to allow you to do that. Twitter is going to be very much like a boosted Twitter ad. So if you've seen a Twitter post, you're essentially just going to be boosting it and putting it in front of more people that you choose, whereas Facebook is actually kind of creating some different ad sets and putting them on different websites. Lastly, we got Real Mailers down here. That's the last one that's not grayed out. And that is a direct mailing software. So we'll have a separate video that kind of goes over how you can handle direct mailers through there. So for our purposes, we're going to select Facebook. You'll see here we got schedule. We can select the dates that we want to run this from. You are always going to have to select the day after today. So right now is actually Friday the 12th. It will now allow me to select Friday the 12th. The ad, the first day that it can start on, is the following day. And then you can select whatever day you want that advertisement to end. And then you're going to select your budget and click Configure Campaign. So this will take us to our next page. I'll scroll through here real quick just so you can get an idea of what this kind of looks like before I start going over some of the sections here. You can see this is where you're going to start filling out and making your advertisement for your Facebook campaign. This is where you're going to kind of select that targeting information. So this is really all you're selecting in order to completely run a very smart mobile campaign on Facebook. You'll notice there's a little button here that says change channels. So I can actually edit my ad right from here. Let's say I wanted to throw in an Instagram ad as well. I could change that. You'll notice that there's 2 different tabs here, and now I'm just scrolling back and forth. And when I'm down here, I can create my Instagram ad, and then I can scroll back here and I can create my Facebook ad. And again, you can continue to just add more as you go. So here's another one. I could come in here and start working and creating a Twitter campaign. So you can see how easy it is to just kind of edit and quickly change what you want to run. And then actually, let me point out one more thing. I'll select it here. Notice that when I added that, it also changed my budget allocation up here. So I am budgeting a total of $30 for this advertisement, and I'm putting 15 on Facebook and 15 on Instagram. I could also change that to put 20 there, and you'll notice it changed my total budget, so I could then come here. So I'm still spending 30, but I'm spending the majority on Facebook and then $10 on Instagram and so on. So you can kind of plug and play and figure out what works best for your audience. So again, I'm just going to do a Facebook ad here for our purposes. I do think right now that is the best thing that you should probably be doing without a doubt, especially if you're somebody who boosts posts. So up at the top, we're going to select the listing that we want to promote. So select from KWLS. You'll notice that it's going to show you a list, or should show you a list of your current listings. It is not smart enough right now to pull in, like for instance, I know I'm a co-agent on the property that I actually want to promote, and it's not pulling that in. My dad, who's on my team, is actually the lead agent on the property, quote unquote. So what I need to do is actually find that property. And this also pulls up, I should say, this is pulling up past listings as well. I'm not sure how far back it goes. I see a few listings that might be missing that I know I have or that I had in the past that aren't on here. So I don't know if it's completely perfect yet, but I did notice up at the top here you can search. I'm going to go, I want to show all listings because I'm actually trying to find a different listing. Again, it was one that didn't show up in my list there. And I'm going to put in the address up here. It's on 2136 Pickett Side. Oops. Here we go. And this is actually the listing I'm looking here for in Batavia, Ohio. So I will select that listing. So now it'll start to pull in, and you'll notice it didn't pull in all the ad text, and that's because it didn't sense that I was the listing agent. Typically, when you're the listing agent, it pops up the right way. A lot of this stuff will start to pre-fill in here, but I'll show you how you can kind of quickly do that. So got my property selected, got my dates, got my campaign, and who I'm going. So I'm spending $30 on Facebook. Now we're going to come start to create our ad. So we want to select your Facebook page. You should already have your Facebook page linked up. I have 2 different pages, so just make sure you select the one you want to represent that ad. So in this case, it's the Bennett Group page. Images, you can select up to 6 images, and each of those images will be responsible for its own individual ad. So for instance, I can select up to 6 here. When I get to the 5th or the 7th, it'll tell me no, only 6 images are allowed. So that would create 6 different ads. I'm only going to use this main image here because I really think that's the best photo and the one that's probably going to get the most engagement. Some of the other photos here are not as good. We got one of the backyard that looks at a lake in the back. If I unselect that, you'll see that that one populates in our preview there. And then you can see some of the other photos as you go. So I'm going to go ahead and select this image here. Again, you could select all 3 of those. You could select the first 3 if you wanted to, and each of those would create its own ad. And it's not an ad where you click on like a little icon, you can go photo to photo to photo. It is just a one photo advertisement. So I got my one photo selected there. Add text, you'll see that this is, if you start to type something in here, it'll pop up over here. So you can see the add text that's asking for us is this top portion up there. So what I usually do is I pull up my website and I open up the listing on my website, and I really just do a lot of copying and pasting here. So I will take this description here, take half of the description, and I put that into the add text. And always like exclamation points, fix any apostrophes there. Headline, I always use a template on all my Instagram and Facebook posts where we use these little emojis here. So again, I just do another copy and paste. Oops. Copy paste, and then let me add in where this is. Usually on our Instagram post you have a geotagging where you'll put the location in there, so I don't put this section in there, but we'll add it for the Facebook ad. And this house is listed at $249,900. It is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And then your CTA. So this is your call to action. So this is this little box right here down at the bottom. I usually do learn more. So they're going to be clicking on that to go over to a landing page at this point. In the future, there are going to be, you are going to have the option to create advertisements where somebody could message you directly through Facebook, and you could create that ad through here. That's where you might use the Contact Us button. For now, I'm going to use Learn More. You could use Open Link too. I just like to learn more a little bit better. And then I am asking us for a link description. That goes right underneath here. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the other half here of my property description. So now you'll see that is essentially every section I need to put in. The website, again, just another copy and paste. You'll see CTA link, so that's the call to action link, so that's where the landing page that you're actually going to take somebody to, so you want that to be your property page. So now you can get an idea of what this ad looks like. So we got our half of our description up at the top here. We're telling people the price, location, beds, baths, and then we have a little bit of the description at the bottom, and then you got the link that you have in there. So that's your complete ad at this point. Then the last thing you want to do is select your targeting. So Keller Williams is going to be selecting and is going to be using a lot of proprietary data to determine who you should be targeting, who is that actual audience. What you're going to tell Keller Williams is the location that you want to advertise to, the radius around that location you want to advertise to, and then the age that you want to advertise that property to. All the other elements of creating that targeted audience are going to be completely controlled by Keller Williams. And the nice thing about that is that they're going to use those large data sets and be able to put those to play to help you get better efficiency essentially out of your advertisements. So you're going to get a better cost per click, you're going to get better leads, you're going to get better people as a result of having that additional data overlay as opposed to just running your own Facebook boost or your own ad campaign. So for this property, it is a little bit of it's definitely be a first time buyer kind of property. I'm going to throw us at age 28. and you could definitely be a second home as well for this particular one. So I'm going to go up to 45 here. And then I always try to, you can see, you can make the radius essentially as big or as small, or I shouldn't say as small as you want to. The smallest that you can go to is 10 miles. I would actually like to be able to go a little bit smaller than that. I usually do about 6 or 7 miles when I do my property boosts under the old formats that we were kind of using. So I wouldn't even mind getting a little bit smaller. So for these purposes, I take it all the way down to 10-mile radius. And then at this point, we're done with this. So we have our Facebook ad here. We have everything selected. We'll go ahead and hit Save and Activate. Now it's telling us that your ad is going to run for 10 days with a cost of $30 on Facebook. And then once I hit that approval, it's going to go ahead and charge my card. I guess I'll show you that here. So I'm going to go ahead and create this campaign. And I'm going to show you where you can add and edit your payment information real quick. Now, if you got to that far and you didn't add and edit your payment information, you could go ahead and click this Save as a Draft. And I'll go ahead and show you that. And then that'll take you back to the beginning here. Now you can see that we got it drafted out. And you can come back into this campaign. And then we got our... And now you can come back in here and edit the campaign. So if you go back to your lead accelerator here, if you just click on that main button over there, and you need to add payment information, go up to your payment profile here, and then there's an Add New in the top right, and then you can just add in your credit card information that you want to use. It does not link. Some other Facebook accelerators link to your Facebook ad account and will actually charge that particular account. This does not, so it's going to charge you each time that you run one of those campaigns at the start of that campaign. So that should get you going and be able to essentially replace those property boosts that you're doing. Definitely leave me any questions that you have or shoot me an email and we'll get you taken care of.